Hello to you all. My name is Ranesh Chandra and this is one of my assignment, which is a critical analysis project. This PowerPoint will be based on the three learning theories which are behavioral, cognitive and socio-cultural learning theories. First of all, we'll be looking at what are learning theories. Learning theories are plan or ideas that explains how an individual acquire knowledge, expertise and manners. It also explains that how skills and understanding grows through learning. Learning theories are used by the teachers to make up the lessons that needs to be taught by the students. Now will be there's a question might be arising that why is it important for the teachers to consider the learning theories while making up the lesson? The answer of it is because there are three types of students in the classrooms. Some are so smart, some are below average, and some are average. And for teachers, they want the students to be in the same page, working on the same page. So what they do is they consider the learning theories and they make up the lessons according to it so that students can perform well and also they can be working together. There are three different theories and based on it there are different beliefs which are shown by the respected theorist. Individual must know what they are theories in order to be an active learner. Since like what I have discussed in point 3, it is a bit more similar to the point 5, like what teachers usually do, they consider the theories and make up the lessons. So it is the responsibility for the students also make sure they also should be, in order to be an active learner, they should also know what are the theories which the teachers are looking at and making up the lessons. The first theory which we'll be discussing is on behavioral learning theory. It is a theory which is established by the three theorists who are John B. Watson, B.F. Skinner, and Ivan Pavlov in the early 20th century. The focal points are mostly based on the actions, not the thoughts, which means the lecturers, tutors, or the teachers they mostly look at the actions of the individuals but not the thoughts. A person's behavior is shaped by rewards and punishments, which explains that if a person is doing something good, then they will be praised for it, and if they're doing something wrong, then they will be scolded. Learning takes place through repeating important and useful things. It's not that what we see and we just understand. A better learning and education takes place when students look at a particular thing and try to remember it by repeating it often and practicing it. Individuals sees their own actions and act according to it, which is a bit similar to the third point. Like if they have actions which they are doing and it is complimented by someone, they are praised and they will continue doing good things. And if it is bad and if it is wrong and for example they are scolded for it, then they might change their attitude. Now we'll be looking at the episode of behavioral learning theory. Actually, the all the episodes which is in this PowerPoint are actually based on me on what I have experienced and what I have observed. When I was in primary school, it was so tough for me to learn multiplication timetable. So my teacher encouraged me and my few other friends as they were not able to learn multiplication table. So she has encouraged us to learn multiplication table daily, and like one day she has tested us and without the chart we were able to say it, and she was so happy that she has given me a small gift which was a pencil and also praised me and my other few friends by saying good job. Repetition improves a person's memory and what they are trying to remember and learn, which simply means practice makes perfect, which I have mentioned in the third PowerPoint, which was in the fourth, which was the fourth point. The learning takes place through reporting important and useful things. So it is similar to this one that practice makes perfect. If we will keep on repeating something which we are not understanding, so it's obvious that one day, not one day, but sooner, we'll be able to be a better person in knowing that particular concept or theory or maybe a particular definition. Because sometimes what we do is that when we are tired of repeating a particular thing and we are not able to understand, what we do is just we get tired and we do not focus on the particular thing. But practice makes perfect. We shouldn't be scared of anything. We should be practicing it and repeating particular thing in order to be a smart and active learner. Progress was seen as I was able to say my multiplication table orally, behavioral episodes analysis, receiving the positive feedbacks from my teacher enhanced my learning. Without proper support and awards, it would have been hard to perform better. Like the proper support was given by my class teacher, and the small award was given, which had motivated me to learn every day and practice my multiplication timetable. And that's the reason why I understood and learned how to set my timetable when I was in primary school. Until now, I'm really smart in that, I would say. Simple things can be acquired well if it is properly planned and structured. A better environment is also needed to perform a better learning classroom. If the classroom is noisy, students will not be able to perform well. But if the classroom is silent, well maintained, students will be able to participate in the teaching and learning program. If teachers tend to ignore, students might lose all their focus. It is important that teachers and students must work together, and also teachers must show their responsibilities well. What sometimes teachers do is they tend to ignore the students who are below average, and they just try to focus on the students who are smart. So in that way, the smarter students keep on improving it, and the students who are below average, they're not able to do better. Moving on, the second learning theory, which is the cognitive learning theory. Cognitive learning theory was established by Jean Piaget in 1903. It focuses on thinking and grasping the ideas, which means what we are thinking and understanding the ideas, and also connecting new ideas with the existing ones. Learners acquires information in their mind actively. Acquiring knowledge through learning is not just about trying to remember it or memorizing it, but actively understanding it, which means we are not learning a particular thing just to remember it for maybe sometimes memorizing it, but we are learning it to remember for our future time, for a long time. Like, but are actively understanding it. It's not just about memorizing it for maybe your exam or for maybe your short test, but we are learning a particular thing so that we can actively understand what that particular thing means. Episode of cognitive learning theory. When I went for my practicum in Rampur College, which was my former school, actually the HOD has asked me to take one of the year 10 10th lesson, as there were shortage of English teachers. And so actually I'm a student doing Bachelor of Arts and Graduate Certificate in Education, majoring in English and Hindi. So she has asked me to take a lesson of the year 10 students on synonyms. I have taught the students on synonyms using real life examples, and students has performed well. Through the examples which I have used, students were able to link the ideas with what already they had knew from the past experience with their friends. Use the simulation to adjust knowledge that are prior. Learners could explain after understanding the lesson since they already understood discussions. Cognitive episode analysis. Real life examples help students understand things well. Students could slowly come up with their own examples. Like after the explanation I have given to the students, one of the students came up with his own example and told us and the other students, and slowly other students were able to understand it as well. Learning should take place in such a way that should not be forgotten, not all that should not be forgotten. uh, like sometimes what happens is that learning, as I have mentioned in the earlier slide, sometimes learning happens because maybe students are memorizing it for their exams, but learning should be taken in such a way that should not be forgotten. Students were able to understand the lesson well, which I have took, which were synonyms, and they were able to understand everything. Moving on to the last theory, which was the third theory, which is socio-cultural learning theory, which is established by Lev Vygotsky. He explains that zone of proximal development, which is ZPD, what can be done individually and what can be done through the support. He explains sometimes students do things on their own and sometimes it is important, it becomes necessary for students to do it with the support. Sometimes learning work out through the aid of peers and teachers, as mentioned in the third point. It shows up that communication is vital tool for learning. If students learn more things in pairs, ideas combine, and this is when extra education and understanding is taking a place, which is very much true. If sometimes students students are so lost when they're in pairs, they're able to share and interact with each other, and that's the time where the ideas of each other's collaborates, which means like the ideas which they share, they combine their idea and they're able to do a particular task which is given to them. The episode of socio-cultural learning theory, support given by my classmate and the teacher, scaffolding, which simply means like when I was in secondary school, I was actually being so introvert. I used to be so shy, but my teacher has asked all of us to be in pairs and write a short poem in Hindi. But actually, I did not know how to do it. So then, my friend has helped me, and also the teacher supported me, and finally, I came up. We came up with a better, a meaningful poem. The required activity was completed in a better way, as we were able to complete the required task which was given by my Hindi teacher, and shows the importance of interacting with each other while doing a group activity. Interaction is most is one of the important thing that needs to be done while doing a group activity or maybe a activity doing in pairs. Sometimes working alone makes a person confused and is not able to do the required activities, which is true. Sometimes people are being lost, but when they're in pairs, they're able to share their ideas and they're able to take aloud the questions which they have received by sharing the ideas which they have in their minds. Helping one another to complete a required task is better key to acquire knowledge faster. The second last slide is showing that episode of learning, was it successful or unsuccessful. The three episode of the learning is successful: behavioral learning theory, cognitive learning theory, and socio-cultural learning theory. All the three learnings were successful. Students were facing difficulties, but since the learning took place considering the theories, students found it easier. If teachers consider the theories while making the lesson plans, then the learning happens perfectly. Students following the instructions, considering the learning theories as well, what teachers usually do by through considering the learning theories and making up the lesson plans, the learning happens perfectly as well. So it's the responsibility for the students as well to follow the instructions and follow the instructions so that acquiring of knowledge happens well. Lastly, those are the references which I have used in order to those are the sources which I have used in order to gather my informations. Thank you, students, and I hope that you guys will understand my explanation. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.